Hey guys, this is Amit and you are watching Tech Dad. In this video, we are going to compare between Poco M3 Pro versus Poco X3, and we will discuss which one is better in camera, performance, display, body of the devices, features, communication chips, and about the prices. In the end of the video, I will tell you which one is better according to me. So watch this video till the end. So without wasting any time, let's start the video. Let the comparison start with the camera of the devices. Talking about the rear camera of the devices, M3 Pro have triple camera setup, 48 megapixel of wide camera, 2 megapixel of macro camera and 2 megapixel of depth sensor. Whereas X3 have quad camera setup, 64 megapixel of wide camera, 13 megapixel of ultra wide camera, 2 megapixel of macro camera and 2 megapixel of depth sensor. So the winner here is X3 because it have quad camera setup which have ultra wide camera. And about the front camera of the devices, M3 Pro have 8 megapixel of wide camera, whereas X3 have 20 megapixel of wide camera. So the winner here is X3 because it have 20 megapixel of wide camera which can capture low noisy photos in low light conditions. Let's talk about the camera features of the devices. M3 Pro have dual LED flash, HDR and panorama, whereas X3 have dual LED flash, HDR and panorama, so it's a tie. And about the video recording options in the devices, M3 Pro can shoot Full HD video max at 30 fps and X3 can shoot 4K video max at 30 fps, Full HD video max at 120 fps with gyro electronic image stabilization. So the winner here is X3 because it can record in high fps and it have gyro electronic image stabilization. Moving to the performance of the devices, let's start with the operating system of the devices. M3 Pro have Android 11 support. On the other side, X3 also have Android 11 support, so it's a tie. And about the user interface of the devices, M3 Pro have MIUI whereas X3 have MIUI 2. So I will call it a tie because both of the devices have same interface. Let's talk about the processor of the devices. M3 Pro is powered by Dimensity 700 5G based on 7nm processor, whereas X3 is powered by Snapdragon 732G based on 8nm processor. So the winner here is X3 because it have faster processing speed. And about the GPU of the devices, M3 Pro is packed with Mali G57, whereas X3 is packed with Adreno 618. So the winner here is X3 because it can give you more FPS in games. Let's talk about the clock speed of the devices. M3 Pro can clock at 2.2 GHz based on octa-core Cortex chipset, whereas X3 can clock at 2.3 GHz based on octa-core Creo chipset. So the winner here is X3 because it have 5% faster clock speed. And about the RAM variants in the devices, M3 Pro have two RAM variants, 4 and 6 GB, whereas X3 have 6 and 8 GB of RAM variant. So clearly the winner here is X3 because it have high capacity of RAM. Let's talk about the internal storage of the devices. M3 Pro comes with two storage options, 64 and 128, whereas X3 also have 64 and 128 GB. So clearly it's a tie because both of the devices have same read and write speed. And about the external storage of the devices, M3 Pro have dedicated card slot. In the other side, X3 have shared SIM slot. So the winner here is M3 Pro because of dedicated card slot it have. Moving to the display features of the devices, let's start with the display size of the devices. M3 Pro have 6.5 inches of display. In the other side, X3 also have 6.67 inches of display. So clearly the winner here is X3 because it have bigger display size. And about the screen to body ratio of the devices, M3 Pro have approx 83.7%, whereas X3 have 84.6%. So the winner here is X3 because it have high ratio. Let's talk about the screen resolution of the devices. M3 Pro comes with Full HD Plus display. In the other hand, X3 have Full HD Plus display too. So it's a tie here. And about the display type of the devices, both of the devices have IPS LCD display, but M3 have 90 Hz of refresh rate, whereas X3 have 120 Hz of refresh rate with HDR10 support. So the winner here is X3 because it have HDR10 display, which can produce sharper images, vivid colors, deeper blacks, which is great for watching content and playing games. Moving to the body features of the devices, let's start with the thickness of the devices. M3 Pro have 8.9 mm of thickness, whereas X3 have 10.1 mm of thickness. So the winner here is M3 Pro because it have slimmer body design. Talking about the weight of the devices, M3 Pro have 190 grams of weight, whereas X3 have 225 grams of weight. So the winner here is M3 Pro because it have slightly lighter body weight as compared to X3. And about the protective glass of the devices, M3 Pro have Gorilla Glass 3 whereas X3 have Gorilla Glass 5. So the winner here is X3 because it have newer generation of glass which is more durable than its older generation. Let's talk about the build quality of the devices. M3 Pro have plastic back with plastic frame, whereas X3 have plastic back with plastic frame. So it's a tie here because both of the devices have same build quality. And about the SIM options in their devices, both of the devices have dual nano SIM support, so it's a tie. Moving to some of the most important features of the devices. Let's start with the fingerprint scanner of the devices. M3 Pro have side mounted fingerprint scanner. In the other side, X3 have side mounted fingerprint scanner too. So I will call it a tie. And about the sensors in the devices, M3 Pro have accelerometer, gyroscope, proximity and compass, whereas X3 have accelerometer, gyroscope, proximity and compass. So again, it's a tie. Let's talk about the battery capacity of the devices. M3 Pro have 5000 mAh of battery, whereas X3 also have 6000 mAh of battery. So clearly the winner here is X3 because it have bigger battery capacity. Let's talk about the charging speed of the devices. M3 Pro have 18 watts of fast charging, whereas X3 have 33 watts of fast charging. So the winner here is X3 because it can charge up your device faster as compared to M3 Pro. Let's talk about the loudspeaker of the devices. M3 Pro comes with normal speaker, whereas X3 have stereo speakers. So the winner here is M3 Pro because it can produce immersive sound. And about the headphone jack of the devices, M3 Pro have 3.5 mm of headphone jack, whereas X3 also have. So it's a tie. Moving to the communication chips in the devices, starting with the WLAN of the devices. Both of the devices have Wi-Fi AC, dual band Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi direct and hotspot. So it's a tie. And about the Bluetooth version of the devices, both of the devices have 5.1 generation of Bluetooth. So it's a tie. Let's talk about the positioning chips in the devices. M3 Pro have AGPS, GLONASS, Galileo and BDS, whereas X3 have AGPS, GLONASS and BDS. So clearly the winner here is M3 Pro because it have Galileo sensor. And about the USB connectivity of the devices, M3 Pro comes with second gen of Type-C connector, whereas X3 also have second gen of Type-C connector, but it have OTG support. So the winner here is X3 because it have OTG support, which is very handy for external hard disk. Moving to the price of the devices. In the international market, starting range of M3 Pro is around $180 whereas X3 is available from $200. In the Indian market, M3 Pro is starting range from 16,000 rupees, whereas X3 is available from 15,000 rupees. So the conclusion of the video is, in the camera, the winner is X3. In the performance, the winner is X3. In the display, the winner is X3. In the body segment, the winner is X3. In the features of the device, the winner is X3. In the communication chips, it's a tie. And about the prices, the winner is X3. So the decision is totally yours. Which device you like the most so far, and let me know in the comment below. What do you think, which device is better for you? So thank you guys for watching this video. If you like our content, please like our video, share this video and subscribe to our channel. Comment what's your thought in the comment below. If you're watching this video on Facebook, please like our page TechDad, and if you want to follow me on Instagram, here's my Instagram ID on the screen. This is Amit and I will see you guys in the next one. Till then, bye.